Welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, and yes, you're looking at an enthusiastic green monkey packing a digital suitcase. We're getting ready for the ultimate getaway, early retirement. And I don't just mean slipping out a few years early. We are talking decades early. Now, you might think you need to time the stock market perfectly, negotiate some massive CEO salary, or magically pick the next breakout tech stock to pull this off. But you absolutely don't. So, want to retire decades early? The big secret to escaping the 9-to-5 grind is astonishingly simple. People who actually manage to retire early aren't doing anything overly complicated behind the scenes. They just track 4 specific numbers and they check them regularly. Best of all, once you set this whole system up and learn exactly what to look for, keeping your finger on the pulse of your financial future is going to take you less than 1 hour a month. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the roadmap for our journey today. We'll be hitting 4 numbers. Number 1, your savings rate, which is our fuel. 2, your annual spending, our engine efficiency. 3, your investable assets, our current location. And finally, number 4, your years to financial independence, our ultimate ETA. All right, first up on the map, number 1, savings rate, the fuel. To figure out exactly how much premium fuel is driving your early retirement engine, you use a surprisingly simple formula. It's just your total amount invested divided by your take-home pay. Now, actually, I used to wonder about this. Why use take-home pay instead of your gross salary? Well, it turns out gross pay includes federal and state taxes, FICA, and other deductions that just aren't technically your money at the end of the day. If you use gross pay as your baseline, you're constantly going to feel like you're underperforming, even when you're actually doing great. But wait, what about those pre-tax 401k contributions? You absolutely want to include those. Just add your 401k contributions back into your total invested number on the top of the equation, because that is money directly funding your future. So if you take home $5,000 a month and invest $500, your savings rate is an even 10%. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that percentage is absolutely critical. If you dial your savings rate down to 5%, which, by the way, is roughly the average personal savings rate in America, and you're starting from a 0 portfolio balance, it'll take you 47.6 years to retire. That means a 25-year-old just starting out wouldn't retire until they're over 72. But if you can supercharge that weight to 50%, you slash that working timeline down to just 14.3 years. Even a very manageable 20% savings rate cuts literally decades off the traditional timeline. The math doesn't lie. You just have to save at a rate higher than the average American to retire earlier than the average American. I absolutely love this perspective from the personal finance blog Mr. Money Mustache. If you are spending 100% or more of your income, you will never be prepared to retire unless someone else is doing the saving for you. It's a blunt mathematical truth, right? The more you spend, the less you have working for you. Interestingly, he points out an amazing reality. If you spend 0% of your income, like say you somehow live completely for free, you could technically retire right now. Your working career could be 0. There is a direct, undeniable relationship between the percentage you save and the exact moment you get to clock out for good. Moving right along to number 2, annual spending, your engine efficiency. You see, your savings rate only really matters if we know your burn rate, your engine's efficiency. Because let's face it, your expenses aren't just going to magically stay exactly the same for your entire life, even though a lot of those basic online calculators assume they will. Calculating this efficiency takes just 3 straightforward steps. Step 1, pull up your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements and add up your recurring day-to-day expenses, rent, groceries, bills, dining out. Step 2 is where people often trip up. You have to add in the average monthly cost of your one-off purchases. Don't forget those sneaky or regular expenses. Maybe you took a random trip to Mexico, or maybe you bought a new laptop, or hey, maybe a rare Pokemon card. You need to average those out per month and add them to your recurring costs. Finally, step 3, just multiply that combined monthly total by 12. Boom! That is a super accurate approximation of your true annual spending. Now, what's really interesting here is the behavioral psychology behind tracking these spending and savings numbers. Based on research from the American College of Financial Services, over half the people who check their balances daily save over 10% of their income. But for the people who never check their finances, only 10% of them hit that savings mark. I was completely shocked to learn it's exactly like weighing yourself at the gym. If you step on the scale every day, the sheer awareness naturally influences you to make better choices about what you eat throughout the week. Financial awareness does the exact same thing to your spending habits. You don't need some wildly complex budgeting system, you just need to regularly look at your numbers.
Okay, number 3, investable assets, your current location.
So we really need to know our exact current coordinates on the financial map. Like, where are we actually starting from today? Investable assets are simply liquid assets that can generate a return. We're talking about the balances in your 401k, your IRA, a taxable brokerage account, or cash waiting to be invested in the near future. That specifically excludes your house, your car, your furniture, and your vintage comic book collection. Why? Because while they absolutely contribute to your overall net worth, they aren't liquid. You can't exactly chop up and sell a fractional piece of your spare bedroom just to go buy groceries in retirement, right? Unless you plan on selling your home and completely downsizing, that equity is locked up tight. And this perfectly highlights the danger of confusing total net worth with investable assets when you're planning for early retirement. Think about it. Someone with a massive $1.2 million house but only 80 grand in liquid investments might feel like they're right at the finish line on paper. But compared to an apartment renter with $500,000 in liquid investable assets, well, because the homeowner's equity is locked inside the walls of a house they still need to live in, the renter is actually substantially closer to achieving real financial independence. Vanity metrics like total net worth might feel great at a dinner party, but liquid reality is what actually buys your freedom. Which brings us to number 4, years to FI, the ETA. We have our fuel, our engine efficiency, and our current location. Now all the math finally converges to give us our final destination, our FIRE number. Financial independence, retire early. Now, traditionally, people use the rule of 25, meaning you multiply your annual spending by 25, which comes from the famous 4% safe withdrawal rule. But so the crucial point is, William Bengen, the actual creator of that 4% rule, recently updated his own math. When he re-examined his original rule, he realized it was based on an imaginary investor retiring in 1968, right into a perfect storm of terrible stock returns and awful inflation. Bengen actually updated his safe withdrawal rate to 4.7%. This means you only need 21.3 times your annual spending, which significantly lowers the goalpost for your retirement nest egg. That is a real game changer. Wait, $322,695? How on earth could this be a retirement number? Well, let's break it down. Say you plan to spend $40,000 a year in retirement. The average Social Security benefit pays out around $24,850 a year per retiree. That means your actual investment portfolio only needs to cover a gap of about $15,000 a year. If you multiply that $15K gap by Benjamin's updated 21.3 multiplier, you get a target nest egg of just under $323,000. When you factor in fixed income, like Social Security or a pension, suddenly early retirement doesn't look like this impossible mountain to climb at all, does it? Let's move to and see how this builds. How fast can we actually get there? 8 years. This is where the magical shortcut of compound interest does the absolute heavy lifting for you. Let's say your FIRE number goal is a flat $1.5 million, and you currently have $500,000 in investable assets, so you have a gap of $1 million. If you simply saved $50,000 a year with zero market growth, it would take you 20 long years to fill that gap, but your money is working for you. By using a compound interest calculator, we can see that your initial $500K plus a $50K annual addition, compounding at an estimated 8% interest, slashes that 20-year wait all the way down to just 8 years. The math literally accelerates. Your ETA is zooming towards you way faster than you think. So to ensure you actually reach that destination smoothly, here are your actionable takeaways. 1. Calculate your 4 numbers. 2. Keep them visible. Put them in a spreadsheet that you look at regularly. 3. Update that spreadsheet once a month. Ask yourself, are the numbers trending in the right direction? And 4. Course correct when needed. Look, if you spend a little too much on a one-off purchase this month, it's totally fine. Just adjust your behavior the next month to get your savings rate back on track. Making this a simple monthly habit takes less than 1 hour, but it acts as a permanent compass, guaranteeing you stay right on route. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If you don't know your ETA, how will you ever know when you've arrived? Don't let your financial journey be a blind road trip. Calculate your 4 numbers today, grab the wheel, and start driving toward your freedom. See you on the road.